All right, our first alert weather day coverage continues thanks to this coastal storm. Slow to arrive. It will be slow to exit. Wind and rain continuing tonight across Connecticut. In fact, could get a little bit stronger in the wind department as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. So basically, for our Monday, expect a windswept rain and a potential for coastal flooding. We've got the morning and as well late afternoon high tide cycles. Tuesday, the storm will be departing, so rain wraps up. We could see some partial clearing before the sun sets on Tuesday. Our view right now from Torrington, you can see the raindrops there on the camera lens, a common scene really all across Connecticut, looking live from Waterbury as well as from New Haven, where we're at 58 degrees, and from Mystic, certainly a wet go of it, border to border. So we do have these high tide cycles, the next two, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening. 1 to 2 feet of inundation. We're talking about the typical prone areas, so nothing moderate, not major flooding, just minor flooding concerns in those prone areas, with the wind pushing the water into the sound in tandem with those high tide cycles. Right now we've got temperatures 50 to 55 inland, mid and upper 50s along the Connecticut shoreline. Temperatures barely move today. Same scenario plays out tomorrow. We're going to be stuck in the 50s throughout the course of our Monday. Big picture, as this coastal storm is lifting northward, it's meeting high pressure. We've got that east-northeasterly wind that is continuing. So this storm is not going to budge much through the next 24 hours, then begins departing on Tuesday. And by the middle part of the week, we're watching a cold front that's currently well to our west that will bring some chillier air toward, say, the end of the week for us here in Connecticut. So first alert futurecast, 11 o'clock. Points thereafter for the morning commute tomorrow. Periods of rain, heavy at times. There could be some lulls throughout the day tomorrow, but it's going to be a damp, windy day across the state. That's going to be the case right on through the evening commute. And things start to taper off later on tomorrow night. So on the rainfall comparison here, 1 to 3 inches, a common figure, perhaps upwards of 2 to 4 throughout the Cape and Islands, also to our south through Long Island. Within the borders of Connecticut, we're thinking 1 to 2 inches, perhaps some local higher amounts. So note here on the big view of Futurecast, as we run down the clock throughout the day tomorrow, the low barely moves. It's tomorrow night into early Tuesday that it begins shifting away, and we'll get that rain to wind down. The breeze won't be as intense, and we could see some of that partial clearing on Tuesday. So with regard to the impacts from this coastal storm, certainly periods of heavy rain. Given that the rain is coming over a fairly large window of time, not overly concerned with any sort of flooding threats outside of the coastal flooding, but that's again due to the wind direction pushing water into the sound as well with that upcoming high tide cycle or cycles. The winds gusting perhaps as high as 40, 45 miles an hour could lead to some very isolated power outages. We're thinking 30 to 40 miles an hour for most of Connecticut. The higher train of the northwestern hills and also along the shoreline, we could see some gusts in that 35 to 45 mile an hour range, but the 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts Long Island as well as through the Cape and Islands. So not here in Connecticut. So that wind that we're expecting could rip the leaves from the trees, where we would perhaps be going into what would be a peak weekend for us with the upcoming fall foliage and leaf peeping, but we'll have to see how things play out with regard to the wind over the next couple of days, because it's not going to be diminishing anytime soon. Some partial clearing, breezy on Tuesday. Wednesday, mid-60s, and then here comes some of that chillier air. 58 on Thursday, despite ample sunshine. Friday, we start off in the upper 30s, low 60s during the afternoon. So trending a little bit below average Thursday, Friday, and then we're back above average heading into next weekend. The third weekend of October looking pretty good right now. Mid-60s on Saturday, closer to 70 on Sunday. It starts dry and bright. It ends dry, but we could see a bit of an increase in cloud cover before our system arrives early next week.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Now